The tortoise and the hare. What is the real lesson? We all know the classic story of the tortoise and the hare, but what is the lesson we're supposed to learn from it? Is it about overconfidence, about underestimating your competition, about procrastination, incompletion? Maybe it's all of those things. But let's focus on incompletion. It's a topic that doesn't get talked about that much, but it has major ramifications on two things: your productivity and your self-belief. So, how does it affect productivity? Well, that's a simple one. Incompletion of projects or tasks makes everything take longer, screws up your momentum, and it stagnates ideas. So let me ask you this. How many books have you started and not finished? How many home projects have you begun but never completed? How many business ideas did you never fully execute? And how many Netflix shows have you started to watch and then you forgot about? Well, the last one, if you do that, don't worry about it. Every single one of us have stalled out on a variety of projects or ideas that never came to fruition. It could have been because higher priorities came to light, or the always present shiny ball syndrome, or a half a dozen other reasons. But let's set aside the excuses and let's figure out why it matters in the first place. I mean, who cares if you don't complete something? Other than your mom, maybe. But the reality is you should care. It's one thing if you started a project, decided it wasn't fruitful, and you just killed it purposefully. It's another thing if you consistently start things, get distracted, and forget about them, and then start something else. Because every consistent behavior we do becomes a habit. So if it happens once or twice, no big deal. But when it happens over and over again, well, that's almost like self-sabotage. Now, believe me, I have fallen victim to a lot of my own unfinished tasks. About 5 years ago, I realized I had 4 online courses and 3 books that I had started and never finished because I found a new thing to learn, and I thought it was so amazing that I set all the other things aside. It was pathetic. The problem is technology actually hurts us in this area. It's great that we can learn things whatever we want, whenever we want, but technology also distracts us. And it's created all these things from texting to tweeting to social mediaing, and our brain is accustomed to constant diversions. And therefore, whenever we get bored, we look for a distraction. And that's why we don't complete things so often. So it's understandable how incompletion can affect productivity, but how does it affect self-belief? Well, once again, the behaviors you do consistently become habit, and we generally describe ourselves as our habits. You may say, I am lazy, or I am funny, or I am a workout freak. When you don't finish tasks, you notice and others notice, and that becomes your self-belief. You start saying things like, well, I never finish things anyway. And that's not a great way to describe yourself. Yet I have heard clients of mine describe themselves that way for years. So in the end, incompletion is one of the most dangerous habits we create. The hare didn't really underestimate his competition. He knew he could beat the tortoise. Was he overconfident? Yes, but in the end, the reason he didn't win was because he just plain and simply didn't finish the task. He became so ensconced in his own thoughts and his own rhetoric that he literally didn't take those last few steps over the finish line. He made the classic mistake of being so close, yet so far away. So every day, take an inventory of your own tasks. Think about what you haven't completed. What are you so close to but haven't yet completed? And make a rule that you're not allowed to start something new until you finish the task that you've done. Now, I know that sometimes when we don't complete tasks, it's because we've come to that boring stage or the hard stage of it, but you've got to push your way through. Follow the advice of your parents when you were a kid, when they said, finish what you started. And in the meantime, always laugh a lot and learn a lot. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.